Hi everybody, full team today, cEDH TV gameplay, going to battle.
Today I'm playing Thrasios Akiri, and this is Evolution, not the Dawnbreaker version, but actual Evolution, which is a storm list kinda, focused on a bunch of key Dockside combos and Breach.
Hey, so I am playing Alena and Thrasios. I have not played this list in a very long time on the cEDH TV gameplay channels. So yeah, it's just about generating infinite mana with Alena, big creatures, big stompy creatures, and having some kind of outlet to win the game.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate lately, so I wanted to play this. The only reason.
Me, I'm playing Pako and Haldan. This is a divergent list with Leveler and Thrasios Oracle, which means I can win in instant speed if this thing resolves. Other than that, it is a Breach package, the Wandering, and just general good stuff Tamer. And with that, let's take a look at some opening hands. But my hands are closed, I need to open them. Oh, this hand is so... I wanna keep it. We are lacking a blue source of mana here basically. If we had an island, I would have snap kept this. Honestly, if I was not something different but first, I would snap keep this because this is a turn 1 Ristic study. Because Gemstone Caverns has a pre-game effect, and then we have the blue pip, and then we're off to the races. We're also very close to having like the One Ring turn 2 or something here. I can't imagine them actually tossing away this hand, but it's just that if I don't top deck a blue source here, this hand is dead. So I'm not gonna take that risk. Let's actually just draw. Pontus does this sometimes. There we go. We should have kept this hand. This would have been like an amazing opener, but we're not gonna do that restart. Opposite. Now we're only having lands. Now we're going down to 6. No lands. I have a lot of lands in this deck. Going down to 5. This is going fast. Am I honestly going down to 4? Like, this hand doesn't do anything. We're not putting Pako into play. We're going down to 4. Going down to 4. Pray. We're not gonna go lower. So we have a turn 3 Ristic study, which is really bad. We're gonna put bottom, bottom. So this is our 4. Not happy, but a lot of the other hands were just unkeepable. No lands and only lands. So yeah, sometimes that just happens. Really sad about that first opener though. If you could have just swapped a few cards there. Well, it is what it is. Good luck, Pontus.
Let's draw starting 7. This hand is like just 1 tutor or drawing into Breach from being a Breach win with a lot of protection actually. But that's still not something we want to do. It's like it's a turn 2 Thrasios into turn 3 crack LED for Thrasios activation. We have Fierce backup after turn 2, but like that's still just really mid. This is the fastest pod, so we don't have to be fast, but being fast is still pretty advantageous. So let's go to 6. Once again, we don't really have enough gas. Once again, it's a turn 1 Thrasios, which doesn't do anything. We don't have the lands to get up to, or the mana acceleration to get up to activation. And even if we had, activation isn't really where we want to be. So we're going to 5 here. So this hand is pretty mid. We do have some acceleration, a reasonable amount, but we don't really have anything to use it on. As this hand looks, it's pretty much just a turn 1 Thrasios into turn 2 activation. And that's not really where we want to be. But I think we kinda are gonna keep it anyways. The Red Blast is relevant for exactly Haldan, but Haldan is like actually really impactful in this matchup. Otherwise it's half dead, but we can draw into a lot of like really live cards here. Any draw engines, any wheels, any tutor, really live. I think I might be keeping this just because I don't like going below 5, but I think just having this much access to mana is good enough to stop. And when I think about it, I'm actually probably gonna bottom the Red Blast, which is sad, but I think we kind of need to because we need all the mana. So yeah, sad 5. Hopefully we draw well, otherwise we're not that much in this.
Okay, let's take our opening 7. All right. No, we can't do this. I don't even need to tell you why. Lots of lands. And this second is much better. We've got Gamble, which we can't actually use, which is a bit sad. We can't even get our commander out that quickly, which is also sad. So sadly, I'm going to be sad and just keep saying sad and have to go to 6 because while this could be interesting, I don't think I'm going to be able to get anything useful out of it because I can't get my commander out fast. If I had red instead, I'd be in good shape, I think, but I'm not. So let's move on. Okay, we have 1 land again. Ugh, super sad, but we could maybe be hopeful and go grab a dockside. We have red elemental blasts for some interaction. We're 4th though. I mean, there's just not much going on here. So I'm gonna try 5. Okay, so while we were not getting the best hands, we've got some better things that we can put in here. What we have to rely on is our opponents to kind of fight each other for a little bit, but I think we can most likely put away Displacer Kitten and Teamer Sabertooth or Delighted Halfling, but we probably want to keep that so we have a bit more ramp and we can get out of commander a little bit faster. So we'll most likely just go ahead and bottom Displacer Kitten, and because we need to get some acceleration, you know, I'm tempted to go ahead and just put down Delighted Halfling or Finale Devastation also, because with Teamer Sabertooth and Dockside, we have 3 opponents before we start. We could maybe generate infinite mana just from that situation. So I'm going to bottom Finale Devastation. All right, let's go ahead.
Draw a card, pray! No, that was not what we wanted. Island and pass.
Go to my turn. I will play Tundra as land of turn. Tap it for a Mystic Roar. Mystic Roar resolves, and then I'll cast a Lotus Petal and pass the turn.
Alrighty, go to my turn and draw a card. That's a fun one. Alright, we're going to start off by fetching for a Taiga, and we will tap Taiga for a Wild Growth, and Pontus may draw off Mystic Remora. And with that, I will pass the turn.
Okay, take my turn. Taiga, and I'm going to tap for a Delighted Halfling. And with 4 cards in hand, pass turn.
Draw a card. That's definitely not it. Barbarian Ring, land drop. Tap it for a damage. And then I'm gonna cast an Arcane Signet and pass the turn. This game is not going my way. And yeah, Remora can draw a card as well.
Untap, upkeep, Remora trigger, and I will pay. Draw for turn. Land for turn will be a Scalding Tarn. I will fetch. Finding a Taiga. I'll tap Taiga to cast a Mana Vault. I will tap Mana Vault to cast a Talisman of Creativity. I will sack Lotus Petal for white, use the colorless floating, and cast a Dranith. Dranith resolves, and I pass the turn.
Alrighty, well, that sucks. Let's draw a card and see what we can do. We'll play this Wooded Foothills, and we will crack it for a Stomping Ground tapped. Wait, no, untapped. And after that, we will pass the turn.
Take my turn. Also be sad. Land for turn will be Ancient Tomb, and because Pontus is evil, I will pass turn with 4 cards in hand.
Untap and draw a card. I'm gonna put this Steam Vent into play, actually shocking it into play. Then we're gonna cast Rhystic Study, tapping Barbarian Ring and losing a life from that. I cannot pay for fish, sadly though. Rhystic Study resolves and I pass the turn.
Untap, and then we have Remora trigger. So it seems here that our opponents aren't casting that many spells, and I assume they don't have much ramp left in hands. So I think Remora here isn't gonna draw me that many cards, maybe like 1 from once. So I think wheeling here is the better play for me, personally. It will help my opponents find answers for Dranith and such, and I would love to wheel and have the Mystic Remora, but I can't really do that mana-wise. So while Remora is great, I think it might have ran its course this game. So I'm gonna sack it, and let's see if we get punished. Like, my hand is pretty good if I were to draw into more mana, but I have to draw into more mana for it to work. So I think just doing the aggressive line and wheeling is more correct for me here. But we'll see. Draw for turn and lose a life from Mana Vault. I will tap 3 mana for a Wheel of Fortune.
Alright, I will tap Taiga for a red and a green, and I'm going to cast Rending Volley on Dranith Magistrate, paying for Heuristic Study.
Dranith dies.
I have a response to the wheel. I will tap Taiga for green and cast Worldly Tutor. I will pay for Heuristic with Delighted Halfling.
Well, since I am actually going to lose the card in my hand, I might as well use it on this. So I'm gonna cast Force of Negation, pitching this Thrasios Oracle, revealing now that my Thrasios is gone, and I wanna Force of Negation the Worldly Tutor.
No response except sadness. that resolves.
Wheel resolves. For land for turn, I'll shock in a Hallow Fountain. I will cast a Mox Opal, not paying for a stick, and I'll tap 2 for a Felwar Stone, not paying for a stick. Then I pass the turn.
Alrighty, let's take our turn. Okay, interesting. Alright, we're going to tap Taiga for a red and a green. We'll spend the red to cast a Soul Ring, not paying for a stick. Then we will tap Soul Ring for 2, and Stomping Grounds for a green to cast our commander. Minsc and Boo. Not paying for a Ristic. Minsc and Boo will make a Boo. I will tick up my commander to put 4 +1/+1 counters on him. Oh, sorry, 3 +1/+1 counters on him. I'll go to combat, and I'm going to boop Mons for 4.
I take 4.
Main phase 2, I'll cast a Chromox, exiling Rite of Flame, and I will not pay for Ristic, and I will pass my turn after that.
Okay, untap, draw a card. Land for turn will be Command Tower. I will tap Taiga, Command Tower, and this Delighted Halfling for colorless, sacrificing it to cast Eldritch Evolution. I'll tap Ancient Tomb, taking 2 damage to pay the 1 for Ristic Study. Eldritch Evolution resolves, so I'll go fetch up a creature. Big surprise, went to go grab Dockside. Let me know how many treasures I can receive if all is well. All right then, I make 9 treasures as a result of that landing. I still have a colorless floating, so I'll keep that in mind, but I'm going to crack 2 treasures first to cast Thrasios. And I'll use the colorless floating to pay for Ristic with Thrasios. We are going to go down 1 more treasure, making a green. I will then cast Concordant Crossroads, not paying for Ristic Study.
I will draw a card first, but I actually think that's a very scary thing. I'm gonna pay 2 life and a mental misstep on the Concordant Crossroad. Now I do have this still remaining here, but I'm still paying 2 life.
Okay, I'm getting counterspells out of his hand, so I'm not sad about this. Then I will crack 3 more treasures, going down to 3, making 3 red. I'll cast Seething Song, not paying for Ristic. Seething Song resolves, so I have 5 red in the pool, and I'll use that to cast my commander, Alena. And I will pay for Ristic. I got 4 cards in hands and 2 treasures up. I'll pass turn.
Untap and draw a card. I'm gonna begin with a Yule Lotus. I'm gonna sacrifice it for 3 green, tap this one and that one to cast a Pako, Arcane Retriever. Good dog. I'm gonna move to combat. No one here is actually playing the color identity of black, so I don't really need to punch anyone's face currently, but I do see a Planeswalker, so let's attack Minsc. Pako attack trigger. I'm exiling a Verdant Catacombs.
I'm exiling a Swords to Plowshares.
Exile a Llanowar Elves.
You've got a gamble.
I found 3 non-creatures, so it becomes a 6/6.
Minsc dies.
Land for turn will be Cephalid Colosseum. I'm ending my turn discarding these 5 cards, mostly lands, to my grave, and then go for it, Pontus.
Go to my turn. I will not untap Mana Vault and take damage. Land for turn will be a Polluted Delta, which I will fetch with. I'll be finding a tropical island, and then I will tap 2 to cast a Thrasios, paying for 60. Then I'll pass turn.
Okay, go to my turn, draw a card. Alright, so having Minsc die sucks because I was going to draw 4 extra cards and then gamble for Dual Caster. And then that would have given us 4 more chances to not discard the card we need. However, we just drew Imperial Recruiter. So, hold up. How much does Dual Caster Mage cost? 1 second. Dual Caster Mage costs 3. So that's, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Yeah, we need 8. And I exiled the Twin Flame. Yeah, we're gonna gamble. Historically, it has been very bad for me on this channel, but Law of Averages says that it should work out once, so it'll be this time. Alrighty, we are going to play Lotus Petal, not paying for Ristic. We're going to tap for green and cast Gamble, not paying for Ristic. Alrighty, historically, Gamble has not been nice to me on this channel, so let's find out. We're good! Alright, we did it. We discarded Red Elemental Blast, which is not the card we searched for. So now, what we're going to do is tap Soul Ring for 2 colorless, and tap Taiga for a red and a green, and we're going to cast Twin Flame on our Mix and Boo. I'll pay for it. I'll sacrifice Lotus Petal for a red, tap that for a red, and with the colorless from Soul Ring, we'll cast Dual Caster Mage, targeting Twin Flame.
In response to that, I'm gonna tap this and Swan Song the Twin Flame.
Well, this is where Red Elemental Blast getting discarded is sad. Alright, Swan Song will resolve, I'll get a bird. Bowcaster will resolve and have nothing to target, and I will end my turn and cry.
Such amazing turns. Okay, let's untap and draw. Land for turn will be Gemstone Caverns. Taking 2 damage from Ancient Tomb and tapping Gemstone Caverns, I would like to cast a Phyrexian Soul Gorger. And I am paying for Rhystic, so I will tap Taiga for that. These two are really nice because with Soul Gorger, even though I have to sack it next turn, right now, with it landing, assuming it does, I can get 8 red mana from Alena's ability, which says add an amount of red equal to the greatest power among creatures you control that entered the battlefield this turn. Phyrexian Soul Gorger resolves, so I'm going to go ahead and tap Alena to make 8 red mana. First, I'm going to tap Command Tower for blue, and I will sink 3 red into this to cast Displacer Kitten, and I'll use another red to pay for Rhystic Study.
Simons, if you don't have any response to this, you should probably kill the dockside before the kitten comes down. I feel like that's something that kind of needs to happen here.
Now he knows. I was planning to do that, but as a surprise.
But if you do it when the kitten is in play, if he has any instant, it just flickers in response, so you don't get.
I was actually planning to kill the kitten.
Okay, that's fair. Does it see another?
I don't think whenever you cast a creature spell up to 1, return that.
It doesn't say another, so kitten can also save itself. But yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, how many cards do you have in your hand, Red Oric? He only has 2 cards.
I have 2.
I mean, I am.
Yeah, that's why mana matters, so you can funnel it into Thrasios.
Yeah, but I mean, if he starts to activate, if he activates Thrasios, then I can fire it off. So I'm gonna be greedy. You might be right, but I don't think he has 2 instants in his hand, basically.
Okay, Displacer Kitten resolves. I'm happy. Go ahead and sink the 4 red into a Thrasios activation. Put that on the stack.
In response to that, because of the Wheel of Fortune, I have a huge graveyard, discard a bunch of lands. I'm gonna sacrifice my Barbarian Ring to deal 2 damage to Displacer Kitten.
Well, I have to try to save it, and you guys already talked, but we'll see what happens. I'll cast Deflecting Swat and redirect the damage to Pontus's Thrasios. And with the trigger of Displacer Kitten, I'll target Dockside. I'm not going to pay for Rhystic.
I will respond to this. I will exile Elvish Spirit Guide to activate Thrasios. I will scry, put that on bottom, and reveal a Seat of Brass to play tapped. Mons has priority again. Since Mons passes again, being a sus little boy, I will respond. Exile Simian Spirit Guide. That completely is my graveyard. Tap Mox Opal for white to channel a Touch the Spirit Realm to exile the Dockside. I really hate doing this, but we need to not have you take this turn.
All right, what interaction? Awesome. I am sad though, so Displacer Kitten has an illegal target because Dockside will be flickered until the end of turn. And yeah, that channel ability resolves. And Deflecting Swat damage goes to Thrasios. And I still have the Thrasios activation, so I'll go ahead and scry. And I will put that and reveal it, put it into my hand. Mana Crypts. And then I will put Mana Crypt into play. Or cast it, I should say. Yes. I will pay for Rhystic Study with 1 treasure. Okay, I'll move to my end step and return Dockside if that's all good. I will make 9 treasures, going up to 10 treasures. And with that, no more effects. Pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. I think I have a solution to all these annoying flickering things. First thing first, we're gonna put a Homeward Path into play. Red, red, and this one, Sweltering Sun, trying to board wipe. Even though if you flicker things, they will still come back and then boom, go away.
Okay, I'll respond. I'll tap Mana Crypts and crack 2 treasures to activate Thrasios. I scried. I'm going to put this on the bottom and reveal. It's a Force of Negation. I will crack 3 treasures. Hard cast Force of Negation. Trigger Displacer Kitten, targeting Dockside. And yeah, I'll just pay for Rhystic Study.
I'm gonna respond with a Pact of Negation on this.
Okay, with that on the stack, I'll crack the rest of my treasures to put a Thrasios activation on the stack. All right, let's scry 1. And sadly, I do not have the mana to cast this, but I still have it in my hand at least for later. An offer you can't refuse. Pact counters Force of Negation, and then Displacer Kitten flickers Dockside.
Sadly, I have nothing.
ETB Dockside. How many treasures am I making? 8 again? I will then use this 1, making a blue, to give you an offer you can't refuse. And also paying for Rhystic with 1 more treasure. put me down to 7.
I have no response to this. My Sweltering Sounds is countered, and I generate 2 treasures.
When Off Further Views is cast, I was able to flicker Dockside again, so I'm going to make 9 more treasures, putting me up to 16.
I'm gonna go to combat with my Pako, attacking at you, Redrick. Pako attack trigger. I'm going to exile a snow-covered forest.
Exiling a mystical tutor.
I am exiling a Arid Mesa.
Exiling a Scalding Tarn.
I did not exile a single creature, so Pako is a 10-10 coming at you, Redrick.
All right, I will block with Phyrexian Soulgorger, 8/8.
That thing is ultra dead. I'm gonna cast this Soul Ring, and then I'm gonna pass the turn.
End of your turn, I'm just going to put a Thrasios activation on the stack, going down to 12 treasures, revealing a Brainstorm, and that's all.
Go to my turn and take damage from Nanovolt. Land for turn will be a Marshlands. I will fetch, find the plateau, and pass the turn.
Go to my turn, draw a card. Okay, interesting. We'll tap Stomping Ground for a green and cast Crop Rotation. Not paying for a sting. Get myself a Gaia's Cradle. Tap Soul Ring for 2 colorless and Chromox for a red to cast an Imperial Recruiter.
I'm gonna respond to my Rhystic Study trigger and cast a Mystical Tutor. I'm gonna find something that would interact with the Rhetoric here. That's the plan.
No, you can draw.
I will activate Thrasios 1 time, going down to 8 treasures. I will reveal a Swan Song.
Cool.
Okay, I will crack 2 treasures because I'll be paying for your Rhystic. I would like to cast Swan Song, targeting your Mystical Tutor because I think you're going to try to interact with me.
In response to your Displacer Kitten trigger, when you cast your Swan Song targeting Dockside, I'm gonna tap this for 2, sacrifice my 2 treasures, and cast a Starstorm X equals 2, trying to board wipe again in instant speed.
Okay, I'll respond by cracking 2 treasures again, going to 4, and casting Brainstorm, also paying for Rhystic Study. This will once again trigger Displacer Kitten. I will use the trigger and target Dockside once again.
I pass on your Displacer Kitten trigger.
Dockside is flickered once again with Displacer Kitten, so I will make another 9 treasures, going up to 13 treasures. Brainstorm resolves, I'll draw 3 cards and then put 2 back. I will put this card and this card on the top of my library. So this is the game of stacking. I am going to crack 4 treasures, going down to 9, and activate Thrasios once again. So I cracked 8 treasures, and I'm going to scry 1 with Thrasios, put that activation on the stack. We will look at this card. This will be bottomed, and then I'll reveal the card that I drew. So it's Tinderwall, and then I'll do the second activation, and I'm going to reveal this card. So I will keep Flusterstorm, and then what I will do from there is crack 2 more treasures, going down to 3, casting Flusterstorm, pointing all copies at Starstorm. Trigger Displacer Kitten, targeting Dockside. And round we go. So Flusterstorm does resolve. With the Displacer Kitten trigger from that cast, I will flicker Dockside once again, gain 9 more treasures, going to 12. My maths are right. And then, big surprise, I have another Displacer Kitten trigger, which is also targeting Dockside. So I will gain 9 more treasures, going up to 21.
Actually, you don't. So here's how it works. So you have 2 Displacer Kittens on the stack. Both are targeting Dockside Distortionist, the same Dockside Distortionist. One of them resolve, flickering the Dockside. Now this is a new Dockside. Even though it's technically the same card, the Displacer Kitten that is currently on stack is not targeting the same original Dockside Distortionist. It's a little bit tricky to see, but they are a new individual Dockside. So this specific Displacer Kitten on the stack is actually going to fizzle.
Well, Mons, you're not wrong, and that's a good catch. So all I can say is at least I countered your Mystical Tutor. That does resolve, yeah.
All right, well, after all that, Imperial Recruiter resolves, and I can continue with my turn. Tap Taiga for a red and a green, and now I will have the Dockside Extortionist.
I'm going to go nuts and crack all my treasures to make Teamer. Yeah, just times 4.
I have no response to Dockside.
No response.
Alrighty, I will make 8 treasures. I'm going to tap Gaia's Cradle for 1, 2, 3, 5, and spend 1 treasure to cast my commander, Minsc and Boot. I am moving phases to combat.
That's a good call because I need to use this mana. So I will use my 4 green now to put a Thrasios activation on the stack. Okay, so Scryed 1, it's a Cyclonic Rift. All right, and I'll just use the rest of the mana since I have 8 remaining to fire off Cyclonic Rift and paying for Rhystic Study. Triggering Displacer Kitten, targeting Dockside.
In response to this, I will tap my 3 rocks and the land to activate Thrasios once. Scry. I actually don't think that this will be enough, so I will be putting that on bottom and reveal a land, right? Oh, a Lerm's Call. And then I will pass on Cycrypt.
I'll sack all 7 treasures in response.
Displacer Kitten's trigger resolves Flickering Dockside, making 9 more treasures, and then Cycrypt puts many things back into your hand.
Alrighty, we have 7 mana floating from our treasures, so we're going to spend 1 of them to cast Soul Ring. We will use another to cast Chromox, exiling Wild Growth. We'll spend 2 of our treasures and Soul Ring mana to cast Minsc and Boo, and we'll make a Boo. We'll take out Boo to put 3 counters on our Boo. We're going to cast a Goblin Welder. Alright, we'll put Defense Grid in our graveyard. We will pass the turn after that.
Alright. Untap, upkeep, roll for crypts. Odds I'll take damage. And it's Tails. Draw a card. Alright, first, I am going to tap Mana Crypt for 2. Ancient Tomb for 2 more, making 4. I will go green with Command Tower, Gemstone Caverns. I'm going to cast Great Oak Guardian. Okay, Great Oak Guardian resolves. Once it hits the battlefield, I can activate Alena while that's on the stack. So I will tap her, making 4 from Great Oak Guardian. And then with that trigger on the stack, if there's no responses, I'll untap her and tap her again to make a total of 8 red. And actually, because of Great Oak Guardian, I make 2 more, so technically it's 10 red. Next, I will crack 1 treasure, going down to 8, making that blue, and I will take 2 red, so they have 8 red remaining, and I'll cast Fabricate. With that, I have a trigger from Displacer Kitten, and I will once again target Great Oak Guardian. Flickers Great Oak Guardian, so ETB, I can untap Alena. Fabricate resolves. The card I'm finding is Umbral Mantle. I'll go down to 5 red, cast Umbral Mantle. Trigger Displacer Kitten, and flicker Great Oak Guardian.
I will respond to the trigger of Kitten. I will cast the Force of Will, exiling a Thrasios to counter the Umbral Mantle.
Okay, with that on the stack, I'm going to tap Alena, and Great Oak Guardian that came back in previously was 6 power, so I will make 6 more red mana, going up to 11, and then I will put a Thrasios activation on the stack, so that will put me down to 7 red. Okay, let's see what happens. There we go. That I will scry down to the bottom. We got a bop, so I'm going to put another activation of Thrasios on the stack with the red mana that I have, going down to 3 red. This will go to the bottom, and I reveal a Carpet of Flowers. So I will put another activation on the stack, tapping this Taiga, and going down to 0 red. There's a Kinnan. Okay, well, we'll go down to 4 treasures and activate Thrasios once again. Put it on the bottom and flip a card. Jessica's Will. All right, I don't want to blow everything on this op, so I'm going to allow this Umbral Mantle to be countered. And then we have Flicker trigger on Great Oak Guardian. So ETBs, untaps all my creatures. Great Oak Guardian is a 6/7 as a result. Make 6 from Alena. Use 3 of it. Cast Jessica's Will, targeting the player with the most cards in their hand.
That's me. I have 10.
Okay, we'll make 10 red, so that puts me at 13. Jessica's Will resolves. I will exile the top 3 cards in my library. It's a Neoform, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, and a Soul Ring. First things first. With Neoform, that's in exile, I will crack 2 treasures, making green and blue. I will also sacrifice Dockside and cast Neoform. Neoform resolves, so I'm going to grab Trophy Mage. Crack 1 treasure for a blue, take 2 red, going to 11, casting Trophy Mage. What I'm going to do from there with Trophy Mage is grab Staff of Domination, and with Staff of Domination, I will cast that. We get more Displacer Kitten triggers, things of that sort. I can tap Alena, making 6 red. At that point, I can untap Alena with Staff of Domination's ability, and then generate infinite red as a result if I keep repeating this process over and over. From there, I can draw my entire deck with Thrasios and find a win. And because it's main phase, I can put a bunch of creatures into play, find a rock or 2 that allows me to get another green, cast Finale Devastation, smash over, and win the game. GG's.
So I more or less misplayed, theoretically. On the other hand, if I would have done what Pontus suggested, do Barbarian Ring first on the dockside, there was still the Deflecting Sword, so the outcome would have been pretty much the same, more or less. But I think the correct thing there would be to actually use Barbarian Ring on dockside, the first thing first, thinking about it in post. But it felt like I'm sitting with a pact, so and other things that apparently didn't matter anyway, because I forgot about how effective Kitten is to just flicker things immediately.
But Mons,
Yes.
you did play during the Paradox Engine era,
I did.
where Thrasios Paradox Engine is just a win.
Yes, I forgot.
Kitten dockside with Thrasios is just the same thing.
Yes. I feel very ashamed because that was like
With
my
extras.
core thing. I played so much Paradox Engine, so I should have known that this is gonna work through. But I forgot. But I mean, it still wouldn't have mattered. It's kind of cool to see though, like how strong Displacer Kitten is with Thrasios and Dockside when you get there. I mean, you were powering through 3 opponents here, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I got a really slow start at first. I was 4th. I had a land and Delighted Halfling in it, and I was like, I could hold up Worldly Tutor. So the plan was to get Dockside earlier, but luckily I had some other mana, but just sitting back. It really became overwhelming. But you had that Ristic study though, Mons. That was the one thing that I was very worried about, because I could cast spells in response, and you just kept, getting value, even though I was getting more mana.
Yes.
You got card advantage, I had mana.
But you were making so much mana from that Dockside, like 9 each flip. Kind of interesting thing though. I actually think that Cyclonic Rift was necessary, but it kind of hurt you too. I mean, your Dockside went from 9 to 0, which meant that you had to flicker Great Oak Guardian that is making 6 mana instead of 9 mana, and also only red mana, which is different.
I mean, I'm lucky that Great Oak Guardian was a top deck, because I pulled that, and that was one other thing I could use to get value. You're right, because after I cast that, I'm like, I'm going to make 1 to 0 sort of things here, but that ended up being the alternative engine. That was quite nice for repeatedly using Alena.
Yeah.
It's tap ability.
So speaking on that Dockside, it's really fascinating how game upheavaling a Dockside can be. You're talking about you were behind all this time, but all you needed was to hit a way to find Dockside off my wheel, which you did. And then, like, if you look at your hand isn't actually that much, but just that Dockside into your commander just very much it's dragged you into the game and put you in a dominating position, which is really
Impressive.
Yeah.
For a 2 mana card creature.
maybe problematic, but impressive and great and fun, because Dockside is fun to play with. Please don't ban.
You were going on the perfect rant argument to make a Dockside ban. There, just saying.
But it's fun, so don't.
But I'd say too, I mean, we talk all about turn order being so important. And, if my opponents were powering out like all these enchantments and artifacts and so forth, and I'm 4th, like, that does help you kind of catch up a little bit. So in this case, it's really beneficial to let you all just play all your stuff out. And actually, in the long run, like, ended up working out that Worldly Tutor was countered, because I had another thing that I could get it with later on.
As much as Pontus made it sound like it, we don't support banning Dockside, but leave your opinions in the comments below. We would love to hear them anyways. What do you think was impactful in this game and such? Regardless, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.